Hey everybody, it's Carl and Aaron here, and it's mandolin time. We got a great G tune, Wild Horse from Kentucky, a fiddler named Emily Dickerson. You can hear her recordings on the Digital Library of Appalachia. She was very peppy and played some great versions, this being one of them. A lot of fiddlers play Wild Horse in different variations, but this is a great one. 3 parts, and goes into a minor part, which is always fun. So we'll have fun learning this one, I think. It goes a little something like this. Thank you, Aaron.
My pleasure.
That's fun. Let's jump into the first part of that tune there, right in the old G territory. And G's one of my favorite keys, I think, and it's got the lowest note on the mandolin or fiddle, so that's a good resonant foundation, which is wonderful. So the first part has a little lead in on that 3rd string. Okay, so open 2-5, that's our little lead in, and then we're going to have some syncopation where we hold some notes there. So we're going to go to that 3rd fret, 1st string G, and think about some shapes here, that little small slant G chord you play a lot. And think about the 5th fret, connecting that sometimes, and then down to that 3rd string. Let's just play a G arpeggio even before we do the first part, because we're using a lot of those notes in all the parts here. So start with that 5th fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, the 5th fret, straight across from that G, and then, so you got, if you're thinking of the notes of the chord, 1, 3, 5, and the octave. So G, B, D, G. So we're kind of doing a little lead in up to that G, and then we have the high G, and we're catching that 5th fret, and then the open E is going to be the star performer of this tune, because there's a lot of nice little colorful notes with the E involved, the phrases. So you hold it, wait. Work on that first little set of phrases there, and thinking about the picking directions, the downbeats are going to be down and the upbeats will be up. So when we hold it, like I'll tell you my direction on those phrases: down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So don't worry about it too much, but just try to get used to having the downbeat, and when you have to wait and get a syncopation, a lot of times it'll be up. The upbeat coming in. So slowly those first 2 phrases link together that I just did. 1, 2, 3. It's going to do that same hold over and an ending phrase. So ending phrase is just thinking about this, what I call a middle reach. 2 on the 2nd and 5 on the 3rd. Pick the 2nd string up on the 3rd, and then you have the open, 1st finger comes off, back down to that 5, and then strum, put it back down for a chord. So you pick up that 1st finger for one of those notes. Okay? So I'm going to do that much. That's halfway through the first part. So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Up, down, up. Wait. Up, down, up. Ending phrase, chord. Yeah, let's try that again. And you could hit, in a G tune, a lot of times you might hit that low G string for a drone. It's such a nice thing like fiddlers would do. Might as well do that for fun. Wait. Chord, okay? And notice that we're doing that little two of those second fret notes. And a lot of old-time fiddlers and old-time tunes will have the same note repeated more often than you realize, I think. It sounds great, but people think there's different notes sometimes when it's really the same note being repeated. So one last time on that halfway through the first part, and we'll finish it off. We're going to do a lot of the same things again. So 2, 2, wait, ending phrase. And then we're going to have a little hammer. Keep that third finger down, do a hammer from open to 2 on that A to B note, and it's going to just lead over to the same phrase again. The waiting note, 2, 2, and an ending phrase. So there's a lot of repetition there. Okay, that's the whole first part. One more time. Hammer, wait. Second part gets into a nice kind of scale pattern. Again, we're going to have some of those doubled up notes. And we have a couple of phrases where it doubles up on different notes. So here's the second part. So we get to go to a nice E note, E minor chord kind of arrives there. So the first phrase is just going up like a lead in. 5 open, 2, 2, 5. Twice on that long note. So try that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 5, 5. One more time. Right. Then we're going to get a little bouncy. 2 open, 2, 5. And it's the E string. And a fiddler might use a little finger on the 7th fret, 2nd string. But you can do that too. Okay, so I'll link that together. 2, 2, 5. Bounce a little bit. And I use the 1st string. Then this time, we're going to do 5, 5, 2 of the 5s. So a little different. And the ending phrase to the E minor. So that's halfway of the second part. I'll do it again. 5, 5. And it's going to do that 5, 5 again. Keep going. 5, 5. And the bouncy part. 5, 5. And this time it ends with the G. So instead of the E minor there, it's a G. So the whole second part, one more time. 1, 2, 3. 5, 5. Down to the E. 5, 5. That's that G, right? Okay, that's the second part. Looking at the third part now, we get to go to E minor. We'll talk about the chords in just a few minutes too, about all the parts, different ways to do it. You can do a lot with chords or do with less, and sometimes less sounds better than a lot. It's an art as we learn. So the third part has some syncopations. Again, when you have upbeats, you're going to have some waiting parts. So we have a little A string leading in, and I'll just play the first phrase. That's the first phrase linked together. So you have down, up, wait, down, up, wait, right? So that's like a syncopation. If you counted it, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So the up picks go. So I'll just play it, and you can get it by ear rather than me trying to describe the beats maybe. But it's just I'm using the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and the open 1st string. Fiddler might use that, probably would use that slide up to the unison. I think it sounds great on the mandolin, just that 1st string. 1, 2, and I'll pick the A string to start. And it does it again. And we're going to have a high phrase. You hear that a lot? A little difference. You have 2 beats at the end that kind of carries over longer than you think to get us back to the first part. So let me just play the 2nd phrase there, which is the same, starts with the same minor. You have that there, but then you're going up to 7, 5, 3 on the 1st string and the 5th fret on the 2nd with the open back and forth. So you can kind of think of shapes there. You got kind of a a slant there and a slant there, you know, on both sides of that. 3 notes, and you work that 5th fret below and throw the open string in there. So that's halfway through that third part, and I'll do it with notice those syncopations. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then we're going into the same stuff again. That's halfway through. I'll go ahead and look at the second half there. So it starts the same way, but it has a little different variation here. So let me do the whole third part and just see if that's, notice where that syncopated E minor sound comes a lot there. So it's mostly E minor in the chords, and it gets to a D and a G both times. We'll look at the chords in just a moment on all parts. So 1, 2, 3. First phrase, tagged, the high stuff, a variation, 3, and the big finish, 7, 5, 3, 3, 5, 3, and you're back to the first part right there. So I'm gonna do that third part one more time. So 1, 2, 3. And chord-wise, on that part, since we're there, you could just do an E minor here on the bar. If you play a G chord and bar the E with it, you got a bar on the middle 2 strings in there. You can just strum that for the E minor, the high strings. And the D chord, just do that high 3 strings and a G. Right? You can do all of that if you like, but I'm just doing the high 3 strings. Good to practice doing 2-string chords, 3-string chords. You could do a little, you have that D, and then you have a G. That's the whole chorus of the third part. There's that again. Also notice when you play those, just a nice little tip, playing the high strings there on the 2nd fret, if I went down to the low strings, my 7th fret is like the nut of the mandolin on the, so I go down to 9, bar 9, 9, and 10, you got the same thing with no open strings. I mean, you could play the 1st string, but there's the same chord, right? And when I do a D, 7, 7, 9, it wouldn't be as ringy if you didn't want ringy chords. So just keep in mind, stuff you play on the high 3, you can play on the low 3 way down the neck. So the chords of the first part is just kind of like, remember that part was. So what I would think, I just think of maybe the low strings, doing a small slant, okay? And then I'm just thinking of putting that E note in there for like a shortening bread, the 6th. Just playing all this like shortening bread, you got a lot of good G sounds. The E's kind of jazzy. So for the first part, I've got chords on above the melody, so you could try this backup stuff with different string sets. So I've got small slant and that E sound, 4 in the bass and 2. That's a droney E or a jazzy G. And an open 3rd string. Back to that E, kind of short and bread sounds. And then I just go to 2 in the bass with open. And I'm just going to do that twice, like ba ba small slant, E sound, open 3rd, going back up. And then, so you're really working that 3rd string, right? Keeping that 4th fret a lot there. And you do it twice. Great. The second part is really is kind of a G, and it gets around to an E minor, and G walks down to an E minor, G again, a little E minor sound, and then it kind of gets a D to G sound. So we could just kind of stay in the same territory maybe, and maybe we could do something like, let's see, on the tab I've got just open, starting open, something like that to get us, G sounds, open, 4 in the bass, and that small slant, then the E. Okay, that's kind of getting us started there on the second part. Then it's just G, and we could just walk down, walk to that E minor there, and then do the same thing. E minor, then we just need a G, and a D, getting back to G somehow or another. okay? Just a quick D or a bass walk. Third part, we already know we had the E minor of some kind, and it went to the D, right? To a G, just twice. And you can do a little. So I'm gonna play the melody of Wild Horse from Emma Lee Dickerson, all three parts one time, and I'll go back to the first part and end on that part, okay? And we'll do a tag, or maybe a double tag there just for fun. So nice and slow, all the parts, and try some backup or try the melody. I'll play it nice and easy going here. 1, 2, 3. Hammer weight. Second part. E note. Third part's coming up. First part. We're going to end, come up here. Oh, that's beautiful. And I love the syncopation in that tune. It's very kind of happy there and kind of gallopy, of course, like a horse would be. So I hope you'll have a lot of fun with Wild Horse. Try some backup and just try some little noodly things every day just to get your facility with your pick and your left hand. You're synchronizing your hands there. So hope you enjoy Wild Horse. Thanks.